tal? Soy Engel Fonseca de NeuronaTV aquí en IAB Conecta 2014 y bueno, tengo el privilegio de estar entrevistando a Kajal, como le vamos a llamar hoy, Dr. K. Él es PhD Manager Partner y VP of Performance and Measurement en Xaxis, una empresa de WPP. How are you, Mr.?
It's wonderful. This is fantastic.
You said it's not your first time in Mexico, right? It's like your second time?
It's the second time. The first time I was for vacation, so that was wonderful.
Let me guess, Cancun?
No, Mexico City.
Oh, great. So we're really inspired about your drive regarding analytics and measurement. We would like to understand from your side and your perspective, what can you tell to clients? There's a lot of clients that they're really enthusiastic about analytics, but they don't have priorities to measure. I mean, they want all the KPIs, they want to measure everything, and there's no like priorities on what to measure or not what to measure. What can you think about that kind of advertisers that they just want to measure everything, like to find the mistakes instead of the opportunities?
So if you think about in terms of performances, I mean, from a client perspective, if you are an e-commerce client, that definitely you needed to drive sales. We call that as a direct response. So your KPI primarily should be able to drive people buying your stuff, and how you develop your media strategy, that should be. But if you are a company like Coca-Cola, like a big brand, and other kind of companies that it's not a direct measurement of sales. It's about perceived value of your brand, how you are relevant in your people's life. Some of the big brands, their KPIs are built onto new product innovations and how people are perceiving their brands and how they are liking it. So perceptive value is based on the engagement of that should be your media strategy. If you are going beyond in terms of something that is slightly intangible and subjective, say for example, if you're running a campaign for a political party, what do you want to measure? You don't want to measure a direct response, like people are buying stuff or not, but it's a sentiment. It's a sentiment that you wanted to measure. Or if you are running a non-profit campaign like sustainability, there are people that are running campaigns like that. How do you measure those kind of KPIs? So the KPIs are essentially very different from what is your strategy. And that does not change how you do your media, because you do media digitally, you reach people, but your messaging and your actions and your behavior for your consumers will be measured into completely different scales. So that's why when you try to measure everything for one single brand, that sometimes is not possible within a single media strategy. You needed to have a multiple media strategy, a multi-pronged approach, might be a bigger budget, might be something that needs a little bit of innovations in terms of technology. It needs maybe a little bit of innovations in terms of how you engage your customers in a certain way. So all these things essentially within the purview of performance and measurement.
Wow, and we've noticed throughout the market, and I think it's a macro trend, there is the web design tribe, there's the analytics tribe, the strategy tribe, the media buying tribe. How good can it be to be a media person that buys strategy and buys inventory from websites and publishers without the analytics mindset? Because how much do you think this is needed? Because there's a lot of people buying media and they say, yeah, the analytics guy is on the other side. Right. Do you think that the analytics guy needs to be really enhanced with the media buying, or it needs to be the same person, or it's more of a teamwork kind of thing?
It's a question of expertise. There are analysts who are very good media planner. There are media planners who are genuinely very good analysts. I think the way that an organizations will function better is that there is a coherence between these two teams. So as for an analyst, there is a certain skill sets that you need in order to understand the data. To be a media planner, you need different skill sets. You need to be understanding your media and their perceived value and how you place that value. What is the value of that media? How we am buying that media? How I am selling that media? Where am I getting that media? It's not always within the purview of the analytics. Yeah. So if you can combine in an organization that works harmoniously, where people understand each other, it doesn't have to be an expert in everything. Yeah. That's probably is the best way. And I think most of the new media organizations, including ourselves, like in Xaxis, it works that way. It's very harmonious because they work from a unified platform. When you build your media strategy, it needs a feedback from analytics to what might be a good options to do it. It requires an optimizations, and then media planner who understands the landscape of the media the best, what works, what doesn't work, where should I make the deal, how should I buy my media, so it works harmoniously. So it is happening. It is happening in many of these new digital media agencies.
Thank you so much, Kajal. And it's really interesting your perspective, because Xaxis is a WPP company. You're a really big company with a lot of collaboration, as you were saying. You mentioned something really interesting that I have in my notes. You were mentioning that relevance and value drives media innovation. Why?
So if you are basically reaching people, and this is with perspective and innovation, and innovation cannot happen without isolation. Okay. So it's like, when you discovered electricity, it has to be relevant. That why somebody would know electricity. There could be people in 200 years ago when the electricity was not there. So I refused to accept electricity because I wanted to sleep in the night. I wanted to be in the dark. But it proved to be relevant, because that's what that increases that people's ability to be very productive. So that's the relevance part of it. And the other part is the value. And the value, without the value, there is no innovation. Why you are driving something that is not productively adding a value added into an economic system. So it could be, again, from a measurement perspective, different. Some economic value could be added by increasing jobs. Some innovations, innovations like wearable technology, like I have a Fitbit. What is a Fitbit? It measures my steps, everything. But think about what Fitbit would do in terms of creating innovations in other industries that add not only knowledge and a job, and it adds economic value, because now you would be able to sell products that helps you keep healthy. It takes you to do sporting goods. It asks you to take a little bit extra steps. You might sell shoes. So this is how innovation happens. There is a paradigm, I forgot the exact name, is something to do with 6 degrees of innovation. Means that you have one product innovated, but there are 6 other happens. So that's why I needed to make everything relevant, so that the products are not used. Even if it is innovative, nobody uses it. How many times MySpace got wiped out and Facebook becomes relevant? What is the relevance of Facebook? People are chatting and they're just sharing pictures. What kind of value it would derive? It has both relevance, because it makes people happy because they're connected with a long lost friend for 25 years, suddenly makes them happy. And it has an economic value, because shared informations generate something that adds to your knowledge to make you a better person.
Wow. So the last question, I will change it. It's not what I planned. You're speaking about innovation, and a lot of big companies justify not having innovation in their company because they're big. Do you think, is it real for a company to be slow and be innovative at the same time? Can you be innovative and slow at the same time?
Of course. I mean, the innovation comes in different speeds. And that's, in fact, one of the slides that I talked about, the 7 pathways. Think about the last one, which is called new knowledge. How long did it take for a computer to evolve? How long did it take IBM from Deep Blue to Watson to a cancer research? Do you think that the cancer research answer would be available in next 10 years? If so, that's actually slow. Okay. But if you think about the adoption of social media, and in fact the mobile technology and the platform, the way we use these location services, the GPSs, the precisions of how I deliver targeted ads on the devices, that was super fast. That did not take a long time. So it is a cumulative knowledge that helps you to go to that, and it might be slow. There is a thing called, I would say, I don't know, how do I say it, a development of a chip or a nanotechnology. It takes years and years of research. It builds on physics and maths and the dynamics of chemistries and different strands of knowledge in order to develop one product. So I don't know how to answer the slowness question. Okay. It will be slow. Okay. But it would be, the rates are probably is a little bit faster.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Kajal, Dr. K. Thank you so much. Thank you, Xaxis, a great company from WPP. Y gracias a todos los que están siguiendo estos videos, estas entrevistas en este gran evento de IAB Conecta. No se desconecten.